Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Lizzie. I'm going to share my screen with y'all. I have a little PowerPoint presentation to help me stay on track. And really, this is all about how to get booked at yoga conferences, festivals, and events. So right now in the chat, I would love to know, are you thinking of applying to teach at a yoga conference, festival, or event? Are you thinking of hosting an event yourself? What event are you looking to maybe teach at? So I would love to hear from y'all in the chat. Let me know. And maybe you're not looking to get booked right now. That's okay. This is always great information for the future as well. Yes, looking to apply from Kathleen, not sure where yet. Good. And Kristen says at a yoga conference. Yeah, so today, especially, and Lisa's even taught at a festival in the past. That's perfect. There's lots of really great festivals and events and conferences out there. And one of the big things that we'll really talk about is some of the research and how you actually choose your festival and event, because there is a lot. So Lisa's taught before, Christine wants to teach, especially at music festivals. Those are a really great opportunity to teach now. A lot of music festivals have yoga, early in the morning before the music starts. And Tiara says at conferences and festivals. So, and hi Hamilton, great to see you. Excellent. Oh, and hi, Carrie. Yes, Carrie is actually going to be a presenter at our conference in October, which is really exciting. Okay, so first, let me just get started with, okay, who am I? Who is the Yoga Teacher Conf? Like, why should you even listen to me, right? My name is Allison Rissel. I've produced and put on, I'm now the producer of 3 different yoga conferences, which I'll talk about. But my biggest conference right now is the Yoga Teacher Conference. And the Yoga Teacher Conf is all about elevating, educating, and inspiring yoga teachers to become yoga professionals through affordable continuing education, community support, and connection. I know all of us as yoga teachers, we're out there doing our thing, and I think it's important that we come together at different conferences and events and festivals to really support each other. And we don't have a lot of professional development out there. We don't have a lot of community support right now. So the Yoga Teacher Conf is paving that path to provide that professional development, to stick to the ethics of yoga, to give teachers a place where they can just be teachers and connect with other teachers, which is something that I always love doing, and I hear a lot of other yoga teachers love doing too. Oh, and hi, Jimmy, I'm glad that you made it. All right, so I've produced, like I said, 3 different conferences. First, the North Dakota Yoga Conference since 2017. This is a regional conference, and we have about 200 to 250 people attend the event. Same with the 406 Yoga Conference. This is another regional conference in Montana. And I'm saying regional and the size of the event because that will be important later. Again, about 200 people attend this event. And at each of those conferences, we have between 25 to 30 different teachers. 25 to 30, 35 different teachers. Both of those are 3-day events, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And throughout the conference, we have a variety of workshops. We have meditation classes. We have asana classes. We have a lot of different types of classes and teachers at these events. And then finally, as I've said, I'm the producer and the founder of the Yoga Teacher Conf. We did our first virtual conference in May of 2021. It was virtual for reasons we all know. And we'll have our next in-person event in April of 2022, fingers crossed, there in Denver. So I have experience with in-person conferences quite a bit from a regional standpoint, as well as bigger virtual conferences. And then the Yoga Teacher Conf will turn into more of a national conference. So a lot of different experience across different realms, which I think is important for teachers as you start to choose which kind of conference you want to present at. Okay, so I've basically broken down how to get booked into 5 steps, okay? First, we're going to talk about research. Then we're going to talk about your media kit. Then we're going to talk about networking, which is incredibly important. And then finally, we'll talk about, okay, what do you do once you're actually booked? Like, what's the next step? And then finally, what do you do at the event and after the event? All of these, we'll talk about each of these individually. So first is the research stage. You have to answer two questions. Is this event a good fit for you? And are you a good fit for the event? And this is maybe the most important step, y'all, because if you apply to teach at an event and it's not a good fit for you, it costs too much money, or it's not the right target audience, you're going to waste a lot of time and a lot of energy, and you're not going to feel like it was a really good opportunity for you. So you have to make sure that you do your research and answer these questions. Is this event a good fit for you? And are you a good fit for the event? And you won't be a good fit for every event, and that's okay. You have to find your specialty and what works for you. So there's a few different things that you'll want to take into consideration as you're researching the event. First and foremost is the location. All right, where is this event located? If you want to attend or teach at an event in Greece, oh my gosh, that sounds amazing. But do you actually have the money to make it over to Greece? Do you have the time to go to Greece? What is the location? Now, on a more realistic scale, let's say that you're a yoga teacher and you offer private yoga sessions, okay? You offer private yoga sessions in Pensacola, Florida. Would it really be advantageous for you to travel to Bismarck, North Dakota and teach at a yoga conference there? What would be the benefit to teaching at that conference? You probably won't get a whole lot of clients from the North Dakota Yoga Conference if you live in Pensacola, Florida. Now, if you offer more virtual type events or well, let me come back to the virtual. Now, if you live in North Dakota, then you're probably going to really get a lot of great resources and information, and it'll be a big benefit for you to teach at the North Dakota Yoga Conference. So you have to really look at the location of the event. Is it reasonable for you to get there? And is there a way that the conference or the festival or the event will benefit you? Now, another thing that you want to consider is a virtual event. These are huge now, as I'm sure you all know. Virtual events, virtual summits. I'm going to use the term event, and whenever I use the term event, I mean a festival, a conference, a summit, a workshop, even a big workshop can be an event. But whenever I say event, just know I'm talking about all these things. So we have a lot of online events now too, a lot of online summits. These can also be really beneficial. And the beauty of an online event is that you can do that from anywhere, and you also reach a really big audience. But again, just being part of an online event may not be a good fit for you unless you actually have an online business. Again, if you only see in-person private clients in Pensacola, Florida, what is the benefit to being in an online event if you don't have an online business? All right. So location is a really important question. I get a lot of teachers who are just like, I just want to teach at an event. And it's like, well, how is this actually going to benefit you? Next is the size. And I want to talk about 3 different sizes. We have local events, regional events, and then national events, national or international. So a local event could be a free yoga day in your small community. Maybe you get the whole town or the whole city of Miami, you get every studio in Miami together and you host a free yoga day at every studio in Miami. That's a great opportunity for you to get out there in front of an audience. And with that smaller event, that more local area, there's a really good chance that you will be chosen to teach at that kind of an event. All right. A regional event is a little bit larger than just your one community. So I consider the North Dakota and the 406 yoga conferences regional events because they are just in one state each, right? The whole region of North Dakota, Montana, South Dakota, and Wyoming. 406 yoga conference in Montana, we get people from North Dakota, we get people from Wyoming, we get people from Idaho, we get people even from Washington. So it's more of a regional event. The Northwest Yoga Conference, whenever that was going on, that was right on the border of a regional and a national conference. The Victoria Yoga Conference in Victoria, British Columbia, that's more of a regional type event. It brings more of the local community together rather than a big international type conference. Those local and regional events are really prime places for you to present at. And I want to emphasize that. Now, I don't know everyone who's on this right now, but I have a feeling that if you're talking, right, or if you're on this webinar right now, you probably don't have 100,000 followers. You probably aren't one of those big yoga celebrities, right? And that's fine because I think you have a lot to offer. But some of these really large national and international conferences, they're going to be looking for presenters who already have or who have a huge social following or who already have conference experience. So getting conference experience at regional and local events is a wonderful way for you to grow your audience, for you to find new clients, for you to build your business. So that way in 1 to 5 years, maybe you can now apply for those bigger national and international conferences. So I hope that makes sense. I don't want to discourage anyone from applying to Wanderlust, but I want to be also really realistic with you and say that teaching at Wanderlust is going to be it's going to be a lot harder to do than teaching at the Northwest Yoga Conference or the Victoria Yoga Conference. Okay. So look for regional and local events in your area and start there. And there are more than what you may think. So start to do some research, start to talk to other studio owners, and start to find those regional and local events. Okay. Next is the cost. Can you actually afford to go? And the reality is, not a lot of conferences and events are going to pay you as a teacher. Some of them will. At the Yoga Teacher Conf, it's actually one of my values to pay every single one of my teachers, but I can't pay them a lot of money. Hosting an event is incredibly expensive. So while I can help offset some costs for my teachers for them to travel to my conference, I can't pay them as much as I would like to. Now, once you become a celebrity teacher, then yes, you will actually get paid quite a bit to attend and to teach. But again, if you're on this, you're probably like me, you're not a celebrity teacher. So you probably won't make a lot of money to attend or to teach. So you have to really weigh, is it worth the cost, especially if you have to travel? And there are ways to make up that cost. I don't want you to ever think that teaching at an event, and if you're not being paid for it, that's just, oh, well, I won't make any money. You have to have a really good marketing plan, which we're going to talk about in a little bit. But there are ways for you to actually make back some of that money that you invest. Okay, and now next I want to talk about the theme or the intention. Whenever you find a conference or an event, do they have a theme or an intention? What type of conference is it? Is it a yoga festival where they primarily have asana classes? Is it a music festival where they primarily have asana classes? Is it more of an educational conference? Do they have a theme? Is the theme this year for the North Dakota Yoga Conference, the theme is Lead with Your Heart? Is the theme for the Yoga Teacher Conf is Elevate? And we really focus on elevating the whole profession and offering continuing education. What is the intention or the theme of the conference? Is it more of a spiritual conference? Is it a physical conference? Is it more meditation based? And does that theme or intention of the conference align with you as a teacher? Again, always important to come back and know that not every yoga conference or event is going to be the right fit for you. And that's okay, because there's other opportunities out there for you. And then with that, can you actually provide value to the conference? If the conference is meditation, a meditation-based conference, and you're a physical power vinyasa teacher, that may not be the right fit for you. You may not provide as much value to that conference. As an event producer, I am always looking for the value that teachers can bring to me, okay? And that's not just social media follows, right? That's only one small thing. I'm looking for the value that every single teacher can bring, whether it is with their class, whether it is with their social media following, whether it's just with their personality. What is the value you can bring? Last but not least, and I think this is an incredibly important thing to consider, especially in our current day and age, is you need to make sure, you need to look into the values and the ethics of the conference and make sure that they align with your values and ethics. I have talked to many yoga teachers who have taught at conferences and maybe been the only white person in the room or in the whole conference. Is that okay? It depends if it aligns with your values and your ethics. If you're wanting to teach in an event that really honors the tradition of yoga and the values of and the ethics of yoga, then make sure you find an event that aligns with those values and ethics as well. There's a lot of conferences out there who don't pay their teachers and actually promised them payment and then did not pay them. That's not a very good value, right? So research the conference, talk to other conference teachers, research the conference coordinator as well, and really dive deep. How do they market the conference? Do you feel that their marketing is ethical and aligns with your values? Do you feel if you start to hear about a really bad reputation from a conference coordinator, you may want to steer clear of that conference, right? Make sure that they are ethical and that their values align with yours. I hate that has to be part of it, but that's a really important part. Research that conference coordinator and the event. Okay, so that's the biggest part, is the research. Now, once you've actually found the conference or the event that you're excited about, that you want to apply for, next up, I want you to create your media kit. So tell me in the comments if you already have a media kit, or if you're not sure what it is, if you have started one. Good, Tierra already has a media kit. Perfect, good. So we'll go through it. Good, Kristen already has one. Or Kirsten, I'm sorry. Kirsten already has one. Perfect. So I'm gonna talk a little bit about what this media kit is because it's an important piece. Yep, Emily and Jimmy, yep, I'm gonna talk about it. So your media kit is how you showcase your uniqueness, okay? How you showcase your uniqueness. This will include things like your bio, your headshots, your class descriptions, all sorts of stuff. So my best piece of advice is, hopefully, does everyone use Google Drive? I love Google Drive. I'm like kind of obsessed with it right now. I use it to keep myself straight and organized in everything I do. But if you use Google Drive or some other kind of online system, create a new folder in your Google Drive and call it Media Kit. And in this Media Kit, you're going to be able to share this Media Kit that has your bio, your classes, all your stuff. You're going to be able to share this with everyone. It's going to be a public folder, all right? And you're going to share this Media Kit everywhere you go. So here are the things that I encourage you to include in. So remember, your Media Kit's going to be just a Google folder with all this information. First, you want to come up with 1 to 3 unique yoga class titles and descriptions. Unique. Every year, I have teachers apply to teach at my conference who want to teach a vinyasa yoga class. Do not offer a vinyasa yoga class. You have so much more to offer than a standard vinyasa yoga class. A unique class should be something I can find not on a regular studio schedule. That includes things like a restorative yoga class or a yin yoga class. Those are things that people can find at a normal studio. I don't offer I do have some vinyasa yoga, I do have some yin yoga on my schedule, but not a lot, because people are not going to pay to attend my event to take a class that they can take at their normal studio. Okay? So I cannot overemphasize this. Do not offer a vinyasa yoga class. Emily has a great question. What about chair yoga? Here's the thing when you're coming up with your class descriptions. Where is the event? Is the event outside? Is it a yoga festival? Are they going to have chairs? Probably not. If the festival or the event is inside, they may have chairs available at like a hotel. Another thing when you're thinking of your class, maybe you have this super unique yin style class or restorative class that requires a lot of props. I don't have a lot of props. And if the event is outside, they don't have a lot of props either. So now you're going to rely on all the students to bring their props to take your class. Probably not a great fit. I'm not as likely to put that on my schedule because it just requires a lot. And it's the same with like a heated class. I've had students tell me, oh, I can teach a heated power vinyasa. I'm like, I can't heat up a hotel room. Like, they don't allow me to just crank up the heat in a conference venue to 105. Like, that's just not even an option. So Emily, I hope that answers your question about chair yoga. It's going to depend. I do love to offer chair yoga at my conferences because I think that's a unique offering. And it also works with my target demographic, but I also have an indoor event. So those are the things that you really need to make sure that you consider. Also, who is the target market there? You know, if it's a music festival, there's probably a lot of really young people who may not be interested in chair yoga. But if it's an educational conference or like an adaptive, the accessible yoga conference, then obviously chair yoga would be a huge hit. With that same thought though, Emily, is I wouldn't just add just chair yoga. That's not an interesting class title, right? What is the unique part of your chair yoga? All right. So not just a chair yoga sequence or a chair yoga class. What is the unique value that you can bring to the conference and the event? And this goes for every single person that's listening. What is the unique offering that you have? And you do have something really unique and unique to offer, I promise you. So dive deep. What is your specialty? What do you really feel passionate about? And create an interesting class title and description. Okay? Yes, Diane, I think this will be available. I always encourage you to have 1 to 3 different class titles and descriptions, just because maybe one year I can't offer, maybe one year I always get a lot of like chakra flow classes. There was one year I literally got no one wanting to offer chakra flow. And then this past year I had like 18 people wanting to offer chakra flow. So I couldn't, for some of my teachers, I had to say, well, I see that you offer chakra flow, but I already have, another teacher teaching that. I really like your pelvic floor class. Can we offer that? Can we have that one instead? So have a couple different classes that you can offer. Next in this media kit, you're also going to have your bio. All right. Highlight your specialties and your uniqueness. add some testimonials in there. All right. Maybe you have your really great bio and then you have some testimonials. Another thing with your bio, please don't make it 2 pages. Think of what a conference coordinator, and this goes for your class description too. Think of your conference coordinator. I cannot put a 2-page bio on the website. That's just way too long. Same with a class description. I can't put a 2-page class description. So shorten up your bio to about 100 to 150 words. Same with your class description, something that I can put on the schedule and on the website. Make sure that you have your headshots and your action shots. Just a couple of headshots and action shots are great. I always encourage teachers, you don't need to pay money for a lot of really professional photos. iPhones are amazing. The cameras nowadays are just amazing. Go out with a friend, get some good action shots and headshots. Add that to your Google file or your Google folder, your media kit. And then make sure that your website is updated. Every time a teacher applies, the way I learn more about them is I go to their website and their social media. So is your website updated? Is it professional looking? Are there testimonials on there? I can see the services that you offer. I can see your location. Update your website with all of your important information and make sure that it looks professional. Now, it doesn't have to be fancy. Fancy is not the same as professional. Professional is clean, easily readable, okay? And same with your social media presence. If I go to your Instagram page and all I see are pictures of your cat, well, are you even going to be able, who's following you then? Are you even going to be able to sell a ticket for me? Are you promoting any of your own events and workshops and classes? It doesn't, again, I don't necessarily care how many followers you have, but I do care about the content that you are talking about. You also have to remember that, oh yeah, and you don't have to have social media. That's not a requirement, but make sure that your LinkedIn is up to date. And I also want to say, make sure that your social media presence is appropriate. Okay. If I go to your social media and all I see are pictures of you half naked, tanning on a beach, wow, that looks like an awesome vacation, but that does not align with the values and the ethics of my conference. Okay. So make sure that your social media just is professional, right? And then finally, add your liability insurance into your media kit. Of course, I always recommend beYogi because I think they have just really affordable insurance and it covers pretty much everything. But as a conference coordinator, my teachers are required to have insurance. That takes the responsibility off me as the event producer. I already have a big enough insurance policy, but in your class, you are responsible for your class. I'm not responsible for your class. So if you don't have liability insurance, I just can't even have you teach because I can't take on your risk. So make sure that you have your liability insurance in your media kit. And I promise that I will answer some of the questions. Keep typing them in the chat and we'll come back to them, okay? I have a couple minutes at the end, so I don't want y'all to think I'm ignoring you. I'm here. All right, so now you have you know where you want to teach. You have your whole media kit put together. Sorry, my notes are out of order. Okay, you have your media kit put together. You're applying to the conference, okay? Some conferences will have an application process. Some conferences, especially some of the bigger ones, it is all just about who you know. Even the conferences that I run in North Dakota and Montana, it's still kind of about who I know. Because once I know you, I can develop know, like, and trust. I can start to see what you're posting on your social media. And I'm like, oh, you know what? Hamilton had a super great quote the other day. I really liked that. And that develops trust with me. And it also keeps you at the top of my mind. So network, network, network. I cannot say this enough. You need to be persistent and professional in your networking abilities. First, Connect with the conference coordinator. And I want to give a quick shout out to Hamilton, who's on here right now, because Hamilton is an incredible networker. I don't know if he did this on purpose, but he did it. He's a great networker. He connected with me, the conference coordinator, on all my social media platforms. I believe he even sent me a DM just saying, hi, I applied, just letting you know. Great networking. So connect with the conference coordinator, follow them on social media, follow the conference on social media, follow the conference on Facebook, any other social media channels that they have. Connect with them. And I also want to say, as a conference coordinator, I get a lot of people contacting me. So sometimes I don't always respond, and I don't always respond very quickly, right? Does not mean that I don't see it. I see every single DM. I see every single email. So while I may not respond, I see your name and I see your message and I know who you are. So connect. And even if they don't reach back to you or connect back to you, does not mean that they don't see it. Don't take it personally. We're just juggling a lot of different relationships. Connect with teachers from past conferences. I think this is a really great way to get your foot in the door. Find those teachers from other past conferences and start to connect with them and just say, hey, I saw that you taught at this place. I really like what you offer, and start following them. Develop a relationship. Don't just immediately go in and for the ask. Don't reach out to me and say, hi, I applied for your conference and this is why you should choose me. What? I'm the one choosing my schedule. What you should say is, hi, I really love your conference. I love the values and the mission of this conference. I submitted an application and I would love for you to consider it. Okay, great. Now I'm going to follow you back and let's see where this relationship develops. Okay. Same with past teachers. Don't just ask them, hey, I saw that you taught at this last conference and I really want to teach there. So can you introduce me to the conference coordinator? No, they're not going to do that. But you can develop the relationship with those past teachers. And then maybe you apply for one of their courses and you get to know them more. And then you just casually drop in, you know, I saw that you taught at this place and I'd really love to offer this offering there. Could you introduce me to the conference coordinator? Networking is a long-term strategy. I do have a networking checklist, which I'm going to show you guys in just a moment. The thing with networking is you need to be very professional in your communications. You need to include follow-up and you need to be persistent, but not annoying. All right. Don't message me every single day. But every week or couple weeks, I love hearing from people, you know, that keeps you top of mind every day. And I'm going to feel overwhelmed. It goes a long way to be professional. Include videos when you can, or voice to text or like voice messages. Videos and voice messages are also a really great way to build that communication really quickly. Yeah, so be very professional. Don't send me an email that reads like a text message. Be very professional with your communications. Lizzie, is there something?
Nope.
Oh, okay, sorry. So networking is a really important piece, and there's a lot of different ways you can network. So what I did is I actually built this networking checklist. It's in my free guide to getting booked at yoga conferences, festivals, and events. And this networking checklist is basically going through and, hey, have you done all these things? These are the different ways that you can network. Another great way to network, y'all, is to attend the event that you want to go to or that you want to teach at. So I can't take everyone who applies to teach, but if you applied to teach at the Yoga Teacher Conf, and then you introduce yourself to me at the next Yoga Teacher Conf, I'll probably remember your name. And that shows that you're actually invested in the conference itself, You're not just trying to teach at the conference. You're there for the community. You're there for the networking. You're there to actually be a part of the event, which goes a really long way. Okay, so attend the event and network there too. All right, tag them, all that kind of stuff. Okay, so, and that especially is true for some of the bigger events, I want to say, especially like a national or international conference. Attend those events and just start talking to all the different teachers, okay? It can be hard. I know I'm a huge extrovert, so networking to me comes very naturally. It's just me chatting with people, but it's a really important piece for people to build that know, like, and trust with you. Okay, so step number 4, you're booked. Yeah. Okay, now what do you do? This is where a lot of teachers, I think, they get booked and then they don't really think anything else about it. Obviously, they probably practice their class, but they don't think about how will this conference benefit me? And this to me is actually the next most important step. Oh, and I do want to say I love Jimmy's comment about how he volunteered. Volunteering at a conference is also an incredible way to network and meet the conference coordinator or someone really high up in the conference who will probably remember you. So volunteering is a great way. Okay. Once you're booked, the next several months should be all about prepping to build your business and also help the conference coordinator sell tickets. First, help me out. Help the conference coordinator sell tickets. Whenever I send you a social media post to post on your Instagram, post it. It took me time to put that together. If I tag you in a post, share it. Comment on it. Help us sell tickets, because the people who are, again, this is also about that relationship building and that networking. I know who's tagging. I know who's sharing. I know who's talking to their students. And whenever I know that you are invested in that event, I am more likely to want you back as well. All right. So help me sell tickets, help the conference coordinator sell tickets. This can also just be talking about it in your class. Ask for some flyers to hand out. All of those things are great ways to build that trust with the event producer. Let's see. Market the conference, that goes the same. That's basically what I just said. Market it, tag. Also, please practice your class. I know you may be like, well, duh, Allison. But I have been to some teachers' classes that their class was supposed to be an hour and they went for an hour and 20 minutes. And I had to interrupt the class because they were moving into the next teacher's time. Or they got to the conference and they were like, oh no, my music isn't working. I forgot to put together my playlist. And it's like, well, you've had months. So I'm not likely to invite you back if I know that you did not do any kind of prep. So please practice your class. And really prep all of your marketing materials and your future offerings. Ideally, you could plan out for like a year in advance and you would say, you know what? I am going to be teaching at this conference. I'm going to apply to teach my Restore Your Pelvic Floor workshop. And then right after I teach my class, I'm going to launch my online program. So that way, everyone who attends my class, you know what? I'm going to give them a discount. If they register for my online program, I'm going to give them a discount for that online program. And I'll tell you what, almost every time I get more registrations from my conference class than any other marketing I do. But you have to be able to prep ahead. Prep your marketing materials. Have your future offerings ready. Be prepared, okay? If you're going to teach a class on the pelvic floor at the conference, but then you're going to launch a program on sequencing for yoga teachers, that may not translate quite as well, right? So do your best to plan ahead and teach a class that coincides with your next launch, whatever that is. If you're looking for private yoga students and you specialize in private in working with students with back pain, teach a class focused for students with low back pain. And then at the conference, maybe offer a special discount for anyone who books with you at the conference. Make sure that your calendar is set up and you can accept payments and you can accept scheduling. All of those little things, they sound small, but those are what will really make or break you. Okay. I once taught at a conference and I had a student come up after me and she said, oh my gosh, I want to join your 200-hour yoga teacher training. That's like $3,000. And I didn't have anything coming up. So I left $3,000 there on the table. That would have definitely helped offset the cost of my travel. Ends up, I was able to put something together for her, but it was very stressful. I wouldn't recommend it. So have something, be prepared, accept payments. I couldn't take her money there. And I was so nervous I wasn't going to see her again. So have all of those systems set up. Have your marketing ready to go. And while you're at the conference, I said have a discount. Also, even if you don't want to offer anything post-conference, get email enrollments. Okay, use this conference in some way or this event in some way to help build your business. Whether you are building your email list, which can be really beneficial. I know one of the attendees on here, Carrie, she actually sells singing bowls. Guess what her class is? It's all about singing bowls. And she's also a vendor at the conference where she's going to be selling singing bowls. So not only will she be able to increase her email enrollments, but she will probably be able to sell a few singing bowls straight from the conference. So be prepared with all of your marketing and your offerings. Some type of email enrollment is great. I like to have a handout that I then offer to them. And I say, hey, you get this free handout whenever you get on my email list. I have like a 90% success rate with that. I usually get 90% of the people in that class get on my email list because they want that handout. And then I can build my business from there. Okay, so next, you are at the event. It is the day of. What do you do? This is now your chance to shine, y'all. First, attend the entire event, and you need to be on for the whole time, okay? I know it can be really draining. I talk to a lot of yoga teachers who are huge empaths or introverts, and teaching at conferences and events can be very draining for them because you have to be on the whole time. You can take breaks, obviously, but you need to be prepared to be there and to be on, okay? Please be professional. Please be on time for your class. Again, you would think that this is easy information. You're probably like, of course, but please be on time for your class. Please end your class on time. Please be courteous. Attend the entire event. Be nice to everyone, okay? And keep everything professional. Don't get wasted at the Friday night social, all right? That is not very professional, and I'm probably not gonna want you back. Teach your best class ever, and then implement your marketing plan. Volunteer to help, even if there's not an official volunteer like setup. I can't tell you how many times I'm just like running from one place to the next, like carrying like an easel or something. And if someone's just like, hey, do you want me to carry that? Oh my gosh, yes, I would love that. Please take that to this room over here. That one small act of help, I will remember your face. I will remember your name. It's a good way to build that rapport, right? Make sure that you talk to the conference coordinator at the event. I usually recommend not talking to them at the very beginning or the very end because it's a lot of chaos at both those times. But in the middle of that event where things are just kind of rolling and moving, that's a really good time to find that event producer that coordinator, and go and talk to them and just say, hey, thank you so much for having me. I really have appreciated this. Let me know if there's any feedback about my class, blah, 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 blah. So talk to them. I also recommend attending other teachers' classes and talking to them. Now, this is also really important information, even if you're not teaching at the event. This is how you can also network at the event, right? Attend other teachers' classes and talk to them at the end. Just say, hey, I'm Allison. Thank you so much for this class. I really enjoyed it. I'm also teaching this class over here, and we're going to be implementing. I really liked how you did the pranayama in this sequence. I'm going to be doing a similar pranayama to help with pelvic floor pain or whatever it may be. So talk to them. Again, I don't recommend right after their class, but maybe once the big rush of people has ended, then go and talk to them. And then finally, this is one of my favorites. At the end of the event, send a handwritten note to the conference coordinator. I've gotten a couple of handwritten notes, and it is like the greatest feeling ever, y'all. I mean, it's like whenever you receive a letter in the mail and you're just like, wow, they took the time to mail me a letter. It's so much more personal than an email. If you send a handwritten note, I will remember that note. Just saying, thank you for having me. Had a great time. I hope you'll consider me in the future. This was my biggest takeaway. So a handwritten note, I know it's kind of old school, right? But man, it feels really good. And that's an easy, cheap way to stand out and get booked for the future. So we're right on time. I wanted to open it up to the Q&A, and I saw that there was a really big question in there, but I can't find my mouse. Hang on. Okay. So in the comment or in the chat, please send me your questions. I would love to answer anything that you have. So I'm going to go up to Cynthia. Okay, I am interested in presenting at a yoga or mind body conference in DC. Okay, Oh, perfect. Okay, well, thank you, Cynthia. I will look at that later. Let's see. Okay, question. Instagram, having own webpage, or Facebook is the best? Ooh, that's a good question, Hamilton. I think it depends on what you're posting on your Instagram. I like to know, I personally, and I think some of it depends on the conference coordinator. I like someone's own webpage, even if it's just one single page. Like, it doesn't have to be very fancy. Otherwise, I also really like Instagram, Facebook as well. Really, it doesn't, like, Facebook or Instagram are the same to me. And it depends on what you're posting. If you're posting cat photos on your Instagram, which I know you're not, but if you're posting cat photos on your Instagram, then Instagram doesn't mean much to me. One of the things I like, Instagram, I can really build a connection with you. I can really develop that know, like, and trust. I can see what you're putting out there in the community. Your web page is where I can see the services that you offer. Does that make sense? I can see on your web page, are you a yoga teacher trainer? Are you offering privates? Do you only do workshops? I can find more about your services, but I can learn more about you often through Instagram or Facebook. So I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, Allison, I think that is a great point. And to kind of talk about that as well, we do offer some information and blog articles about, keeping your Instagram and Facebook potentially private, and then having, your business profile. So that might help as well. If you want to post all about cats on your personal, go for it. But when you're sending it to someone that's going to look at it potentially for, a gig, it makes more sense to have, your business profile.
Yeah.
And I can help with some of those questions here. So Jimmy, also, thank you for participating. We love it. He goes, I should sell some blankies to go along with my yoga nidra class. Just a fun idea. I totally think you should do that. Another question from Kirsten. I teach sound bath yoga. From your past experience, what type of conference should I approach?
It's a great question. because I think sound baths are really popular all across the board. I would personally think that a sound bath may not translate as well in an online event or a virtual conference. Now, I don't know what kind of equipment, but as a conference coordinator, that's where my mind goes, is like, what is the sound quality of an online sound bath? So I would maybe avoid like a virtual type of event. Otherwise, for a sound bath, that's a really nice, I think that sound baths can be offered at many different types of conferences. Probably not as much of like a fully educational type conference. They won't have as many sound baths, but at like a festival, they would definitely have quite a few sound baths. Now, one thing you could think to offer at like an educational conference is the education piece of sound baths with a sound bath experience. Does that make sense? So at the 406 yoga conference, we're developing it more as like, do yoga, take a yoga class, asana, experience a sound bath, that kind of thing. And at the North Dakota yoga conference, we're diving deeper into more workshops and education. This is why sound baths are really important. Now, here you're going to experience one. Our classes are longer. They're an hour and a half to 2 hours. Whereas at the 406, they're 75 minutes. So we can dive deeper. So I think it depends. I think you could change your messaging to suit each conference. Does that help?
It's really great. A question came in from Cheryl, a few actually, but one of them was very relevant topic. Are there less conferences because of COVID from
yes
type of thing? Yeah.
1000%. And many conferences I've seen have shut down and they're not coming back. Things like the Northwest Yoga Conference. I've been trying to find more information about it, and they were supposed to put on a conference in 2020 and they have not. Now their whole website is shut down. So I think that there will be a lot less conferences, a lot in-person conferences. However, there are hundreds more virtual conferences and summits. So while we're seeing less in-person, we're seeing way more virtual. I have a feeling though, once we move through whatever we're trying to do right now, conferences, festivals, and events are going to come back bigger than ever. That's my prediction. But
so start your media kits now, ladies and gentlemen.
Start your networking now.
Network, yes. Yeah, definitely. Mm-hmm. Another question from, excuse me if I'm mispronouncing your name, Cheryl, but she asks another one as, how do you spot research? So how do I find these smaller local events where I may have a chance to be selected?
So, I mean, Google's always a really great first option, right? And then second, I would start talking to other teachers in the area. Asheville, North Carolina has, I think, like 2 or 3 different festivals, all within a couple of months of each other. It kind of just requires a Google search, or just starting the process of just look on Instagram, look for some of your favorite teachers as well and see where they're teaching. Look at some, and especially some of your more like local, I'm going to call them like local celebrity teachers, right? Follow some of the local celebrity teachers, and are they teaching at any conferences or events that are local? I think that would be a really good starting place. You could also start your own. That's what I did.
Love that. And a very successful one. So follow these tips, ladies and gentlemen. All right. So we have like 2 minutes left. I think we've answered a good amount of questions that really got us to deep dive into it. Oh, are you trying to answer another question real quick?
Yeah, I was just going to answer, Cheryl. On average, when planning a conference, how many teachers usually apply? Depends on the size of the conference. 406, I had about 60 teachers apply. North Dakota, I had about 30 teachers apply. And for the Yoga Teacher Conference, we had about 70 teachers apply. So it just depends on the size. And I would consider myself to be smaller conferences as well. So
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Allison, for your time today. And don't worry, we will be sending the recording out to you all via email. So share it with whoever you want to. It's really awesome and amazing information, and we can't wait to spread it through our audience and community. Other than that, check us out at beYogi.com. Check Allison out at Yoga Teacher Conf.com. And we will have however you want to communicate with her, Instagram, website, contact, email, all of that in that email as well. That will be sent tomorrow. We look forward to connecting more. We have some fun things planned with Allison later in the year, but we are ending it for today. So thank you all for joining. And Allison, thank you so much for spending an hour of your time, your very important time with us.
Yeah, thanks, y'all.
Awesome. Well, we see you on the next webinar, everyone. Have a good rest of your day.
Bye.